This is the captain. Brace for impact.
What?
Brace! 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 Heads down! Stay down! Brace! 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 Heads down! Stay down!
What should you do when the captain says, brace for impact? And do you know the brace position? Well, join us on our latest Cinephile episode to find out, and be sure to visit our FUNDAY website for more. What's up, movie fans? I'm Wade, your Cinephile host. Sully is a 2016 American biographical drama film directed by Clint Eastwood. Tom Hanks stars as Chesley Sullenberger, a retired American fighter pilot, diplomat, and airline pilot best known for his heroism as captain of the U.S. Airways Flight 1549. The film follows that story, the emergency landing on the Hudson River in January 2009. In which all 155 passengers and crew survived, and the subsequent publicity and investigation that followed.
Let's get into how you calculated all those parameters.
There was no time for calculating. I had to rely on my experience of managing the altitude and speed of thousands of flights over 4 decades.
You're saying you didn't do any...
I eyeballed it.
You eyeballed it.
Yes. The best chance those passengers had was on that river. And I'd bet my life on it. In fact, I did. And I would do it again.
Captain Sully and First Officer Jeff are under human performance investigation after the crash of U.S. Airways 1549. Since the accident, Sully has been hailed a hero by media and received national media attention, going on interviews like The David Letterman Show and so on, while the investigation proceeds. Though he seems to have it all together, he frequently has nightmares and struggles to sleep at night.
Hello?
Jeff?
I'm sorry to call so late.
It's okay, there's no sleep in this room either. Can you believe they charge $5 for a Snickers? I could bankrupt the airline in about 4 bites.
Just thought maybe you would want to,
Talk? Absolutely.
Sully and Jeff head out for some fresh air, and Jeff affirms Sully for doing the right thing. In their following meeting with the National Transportation Safety Board, Sully learns that preliminary data suggests that the left engine was still running at idle power. Theoretically, it still had enough power to land the plane at either LaGuardia or Teterboro. Furthermore, the NTSB claims that several confidential computerized simulations show similar results. Sully and Jeff firmly insist otherwise, and this opposition gradually intensifies the relationship of both parties.
somehow that's not how I remember it. It just doesn't seem right.
It's because it's not right. Sully, you did everything you could and it was more than enough. Ask the passengers. Ask your wife and kids. Ask mine.
Sully consoles in his wife, who is stressed out by all the media attention as well as their current financial situation. He begins to question himself after the findings from the NTSB. While talking to his wife, Sully thinks back to the afternoon of January 15th. Seemingly like every other day, Captain Sully prepares to board U.S. Airways Flight 1549 from LaGuardia Airport to Charlotte Douglas International Airport, with First Officer Jeff on board. After 3 minutes into takeoff, they run into an emergency.
Nice view of the Hudson. I'll never get over how beautiful it is up here.
Life's easier in the air.
Yes, it is. Birds.
Whoa.
At an altitude approximately 2,800 feet, they strike a flock of birds, damaging both engines. They immediately put out the distress signal. The tower replies back and suggests that they return to LaGuardia or land at Teterboro Airport, a closer option. But without much time to think, Sully judged themselves unable to reach nearby airports and decides they have to water land on the Hudson River. The plane touches the water and eventually comes to a halting stop, but soon begins to fill with water as passengers are told to evacuate the plane.
Evacuate! Evacuate. Grab your life vest, please.
Opening forward door.
People panic as they make their exit off the plane. Some even jumped into the freezing cold water. Fortunately, a passing-by ferry sees the incident and rushes over to rescue them from the slowly sinking plane. After making sure everyone has gotten off the plane, only then did Sully jump onto the life raft. Multiple rescue teams then arrive on scene and transport the survivor to safety. Making it back on land, everyone begins to phone their loved ones. Sully informs his wife that he is safe. Then he kept trying to find out if all 155 members aboard the plane made it out all right. Later at the hospital, Sully is informed.
Well, the Union is pulling out all the big guns today, huh?
Talk to Dan Britt, Sully. Got a count? 155.
155.
It's official. 155.
155.
Back to the present day, while at a bar, Sully comes to the realization that the NTSB ran their tests with computerized simulations and believed it would be different if piloted by human simulations, so he calls in a favor. At the final hearing, they rerun the simulations with live pilots, but the results was the same. The pilot successfully lands the planes. But still, Sully debates that the simulations are unrealistic because they do not take human factors into account, such as the element of surprise, the time required for analysis and decision-making, and the significant higher stake he and Jeff faced. The simulation pilots knew in advance of the situation that they would face and of the suggested emergency action.
In these simulations, you take in all of the humanity out of the cockpit. How much time did the pilots spend planning for this event, for these simulations? You are looking for human error. Then make it human.
This wasn't a video game. It was life and death. Sully's right, that's worth a few seconds.
Please ask how many practice runs they had.
17.
The NTSB accepts his criticism, and the simulations are rerun with a 35-second pause before the plane is diverted. The LaGuardia rerun ends with the plane landing short of the runway and with a Tito barrel crashing into buildings. The NTSB announces that analysis of the port engine, now recovered from the river, confirms Sully's account that it had been indeed seriously damaged by the bird strike, and concludes that Sully had acted correctly during Flight 1549. She then continues to credit Sully for being the one who saved them all.
I disagree. It wasn't just me. It was all of us. It was Jeff and Donna and Sheila and Doreen and all of the passengers, the rescue workers, the air traffic control, the ferry boat crews and the scuba cops. We all did it. We survived.
The end credit reads as follows. On January 15, 2009, more than 1,200 first responders and 7 ferry boats carrying 130 commuters rescued the passengers and crew of Flight 1549. The best of New York came together. It took them 24 minutes. It's nothing short of a miracle that Captain Sully, along with the 154 members of the flight, survived. And as Captain Sully says, they are sure to be joined by hearts and minds forever. 接下来我们来揭晓今天电影迷萨利机长 Sully 要学什么。What should you do when the captain says, "Brace for impact"? Many of us have flown on airplanes before, but how often do we actually pay attention to the safety instructions? Knowing what to do during an emergency situation can be the difference between life and death. Well, let's first look at the word impact. 这个名词指的是冲击、撞击，也做影响解释。常见用法为 have an impact on something， 例如 global warming has a great impact on the environment， 全球变暖对我们的环境有很大的影响。再来 brace， 当动词解释为支撑、撑住，在英文当中我们常用 brace oneself for something， 表示准备应付某困难的情况或是状况。例如 the residents have been warned to brace themselves for another hurricane this weekend， 居民被告知要准备应付这周末另一个台风。那么在飞机上听到 brace 或是 get into brace position 时，就是一种保护身体、降低冲击的姿势。双手置于头上，身体向前倾，手肘贴紧大腿，双脚并放于地板上。所以以后如果有听到机长说 brace for impact， 就知道该如何做好准备。Well, hope you've learned something useful in this episode of Cinephile. You can find more on the FUNDAY website. Let's make every day a fun day.
I was sure I could do it.
You were?
Yes.
How do you feel when people call you a hero?
I don't feel like a hero. I'm just a man who was doing his job.
The right man for the job at the right time.